hop into the show, James. First and foremost, talking about blackriflecoffee.com. Is it? Ooh, it's right there. Look at this.
Oh, look at you. Look at you. You have it. Oh, look at you. You have it.
Oh, James, we're going to get to your Asian voices soon. A lot of controversy about that.
What?
Throwing change into the thing.
Good rock.
Yep. We're going to get into that. First up, I like how we're just alienating like every Chinese person from buying Black Rifle coffee right now.
No, that's your favorite race.
It is my favorite race. Oh, yeah. Shit. Look, you know that. If you listen to the show, you know it's my favorite race. I think you should give those motherfuckers a pass. Like, you notice they weren't on the ban list because they come over here and contribute to the goddamn country is what they do.
They throw coins.
They work harder than everybody else. I don't really give a shit. I love the Asian community. I love the Asian culture. I really do. I appreciate it. I do. Even when... we'll get to the sponsor in a second. I was in my hardest class in college was I had to take a fucking chemistry class. Mm-hmm. Majored in journalism. Didn't want to take chemistry whatsoever. And but you had to take one. You had to take this one chemistry class, and I took it. And it was graded on a bell curve. And I got there was like 15 Asians in there, housed.
Yeah, that feels like ruining.
Housed by the Asians. I got a.
Feels like you ruin it.
Yeah. Well, they're just smarter than everybody else.
That's true.
I have no problem.
I'll give them that. They're not going to, there's going to be no Asian NASCAR drivers.
I'll take it a step further.
But they're real smart.
Yeah. I'll take it a step further. I talked to the professor about this because after my grades were coming in, I have traditionally in my life always gotten great grades. College, I wasn't really so much focused on the grades because you can't do anything with it unless you graduate like alpha cum laude or summa cum laude. Mm-hmm. That can go on a resume or something. What I was going to do with my life, it didn't really matter what I got. But I still tried. And after the first test, I was like, I think I got like a 42. And it was graded on a bell curve. And I was like, oh, fuck. And I was like, hey, man, second test, same thing. I got like maybe a 46. And I was like, I'm not going to pass this class. So I talked to the professor and I said, hey, this bell curve, man, isn't really fair for someone like me. And he was just like, what do you mean? And I was like, well,
I'm gifted.
This isn't my major. These guys they had to take it as part of their major. Mm-hmm. You know, if you're going to major in chemistry and all that shit, that's your first class that you're taking. Yeah. For me, it's the one class that I needed for my thing to continue on, you know, you have to take a bunch of classes to show that you're a basically decent, relatively smart human being and can move forward and well-rounded. And when I said to him, I said, look, not only is this not my major, but these Asians are really killing the curve.
Buddy.
And he goes, he looks at me and he goes, oh, wow, that's shocking that you would say that. And I was like, it shouldn't be because they're smarter than me. And like, there's nothing I can do. I studied my ass off. I mentally can't, I'm not on their level. I mentally can't compete on that level of smart. And most of those guys are going to be chemists. Like that's what they're here for. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I'm not. Therefore, when you grade on a bell curve, I know those 15 Asians in my class are going to get better grades than me. I'm automatically going to be at the end of the bell curve. There's nothing I can do.
Right.
And he was like, well, you can study harder. And I was like, I tell you what, let's do this. I'll study harder and really go for it. We'll see how the next test goes. And then if not, you sit with me after class and you ask me whatever questions you want on this exam. And we'll figure out whether the fuck I was studying or not. Because I just need to pass this class.
Right.
And he was like, okay. He was like, this is super unusual. This doesn't happen, whatever. Next test happens. I think I got my grade up. It was like a 52.
Oh, good.
Yeah. But still, I'm failing this course.
Sure.
And I would have had to have taken it over again. And the same thing was going to happen to me again if I got the same professor. And so I sat down with him after class and said, hey, man, got a 52. Studied my ass off. I tell you what, why don't you ask me any questions you want about this exam or something else that was on the exam and tell me how I did. So we did. Redid it without a bell curve. Ended up getting like an 88, which isn't bad. I mean, it's like a high B, I would say, you know, almost a B plus. Mm-hmm. And I was like, it's not me. And I was like, dude, you're going to fail somebody like me. I'm going to have to keep repeating this. Therefore, my parents are going to have to pay more money for college tuition. And I was like, I don't care what my final grade is. I just need it to be a D minus. And again, with a bell curve like this, there's nothing I can do to pass your class.
Right.
And at the end of it, we took, I think, 1 or 2 more tests. Same results happened. And I just walked up to him and I was like, hey, it's up to you. But man, I'm paying shit ton of money to be here, and I can't beat this.
Did he pass you just to get out of his fucking face?
He did. So he ended up giving me a D minus in the class, which passed me.
Tired of dealing with your shit.
I don't know. Or if he looked within and said, hey,
maybe
say, hey, the Asian kids are smarter. I would think as a professor, if you had been teaching for many years like that, which clearly you have to be a professor at Ohio State, right. I would figure he knows. He fucking knows. He knows the Asian culture and the like the Indian culture. They're smarter, man. Like there's not really much we can do. There's a couple
maybe trying to deny it.
I guess. I mean, look, there's a couple that slip through here and there. Like you got your Bill Gates, you got your Jeff Bezos, but let's face it, all the top scientists, all the top doctors in the world are usually Asian or Indian. Like that's just chemists. It's just what it is. Like it's just a different level of brain power than us white folk. Yeah. I mean, our kid put a bucket on his head yesterday.
He was trying to put on a jacket for about a half an hour by putting the arm through the hood. Yeah.
And he wanted the hood on first, and then tried to put the arms in. You looked at me and you were like, "Well, it's time to call the teachers. He's gifted.
He might be gifted, you guys. Yeah. He might be."
And here's the other thing: is we have no problem admitting, our child is not gifted. He's super good looking.
And he's fine.
He is
fine.
He's a smart kid,
but
he's not going to be a chemist. He's not going to go into that same class that I took and beat the bell curve.
No.
And be the top. He's just not. And I don't understand why people have a problem admitting shit like that. I really don't. I don't give a fuck. It's like black people playing basketball. They're just fucking better, man.
Right.
Like nothing we can really do. Yeah, there's going to be a Dirk Nowitzki that slides in here and there. Has a decent career, and you're like, great, he won a championship. Way to go, white guy. That's not going to be the norm, Same with rap. We're going to have an occasional white guy slip in like Eminem.
This feels super racist.
It's not.
It is.
It's not at all. Like
in a good way, but it is.
I think you have to to get over all of this
be
shit
honest.
that we were talking about at the top of the show with comedy and arts and everything else. Be honest about what you do, what your strengths are, and how to play to them. Like
there are stereotypes that are in place for a reason. Are there exceptions? Absolutely.
Yes.
Are the majority a majority for a reason? As far as stereotypes, have they come up and have been for years and years for no reason?
Yeah.
Because some mean person said it about or whatever. Like Asians can't drive. Like, did that just come out of nowhere?
I don't know.
Sorry. It didn't. It didn't. Every time you get cut off, you guys, every time something's fucked up, you drive next to it.
Yep. However,
it will always be an Asian, and they'll ruin your bell curve because they're super fucking smart.
But if you're asking me who I want to be my doctor,
sure.
Shit. I can tell you who that is.
Yeah,
you know
Wong or Habibi.
Yeah, exactly. Because I know I'm getting the best medical care.
This is so bad.
It's not.
Let's move on.
No.
Let's move on.
I had a.
Oh Lord.
I had a cyst on the back of my neck. That was growing.
Not to brag.
Not to brag. Not to get sexy with
but
you.
Sometimes I get cysts on my back.
For some reason in LA, 3 doctors couldn't diagnose it. They didn't know what it was or if it was cancer. And there was a good 3 or 4 weeks where I didn't know if I had cancer. And I was like, man, I need to get a second opinion from a real doctor. And you know what I did? This is going to sound terrible. I asked all my friends in the industry, I was like, who's the best doctor in LA? And I got a list of 10 names. Picked the Asian, went in, boom, diagnosed me. He was like, it's a cyst. He was like, by the looks of it, I think it's going to be, not cancerous. So he's like, I'll remove it and I'll give you the results back in, 2 days. And I was like, oh, shit, really? Yeah, 2 days later, boom, on the hour, he called me. Cyst is out. You're good to go. It's benign. It's benign. Whatever the fuck it was. Don't have cancer. That was an answer I couldn't get from a white doctor in 4 weeks, a month. I thought I had cancer, and I was like, Jesus Christ, man.
Right.
So fuck it. I don't care. If people, I hope you don't perceive it as racist. Just some races do better shit than other than others. That's it. That's all there is to it.
Blonde white girls.
Yeah.
Tribute. What do you mean?
I've done.